All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Trainers and Coaches Advanced. And right now we would have a training coming up. And before I invite our trainer onto the virtual stage, just a little bit of background about the particular topic of this workshop, which is the life cycle of a speech, where Shyamraj would highlight to us the little mistakes and misconceptions that we carry with us during preparations and delivery of a speech. And he would also offer remedial solutions for us to evolve as a successful public speakers. What you can expect is that after his session, you would be able to identify your public speaking blind spots. Number two, you'll be able to realize why some of your speeches do not elicit the desired response from the listeners. That's something that I wanted to learn as well, because sometimes when I speak, my wife just wouldn't listen. So that would help. And third, which is the most important of all, we will be able to understand how and when the preparations and delivery of a speech becomes complete. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's give our best jazz hands to invite our speaker for our educational sessions, for our workshop, for our trainers. Let's invite Shyamraj. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alan. Is my voice audible? Do you feel an echo? Is it all fine? Yeah? Great. I would like to present my thanks to TNC Advanced Toastmasters Club for presenting me such an opportunity. I also would like to submit my special thanks to Toastmaster Manoj Nair, who introduced me to this beautiful club. My sincere thanks to Toastmaster Mirinda and Toastmaster Harlina, who have been in frequent interaction with me. Now we are on this topic, the life cycle of a speech. Why would I choose such a topic? It's because I could not answer positively for the following three questions when I posted them to myself. Question number one. Do you forget your script on the stage? Put your hands up if you do that. Oh, fantastic. Great. Second question. Do you forget the first line of your script at times? Okay. Now, how many of you here have felt this weird syndrome? You went up to the stage to present a speech for 5 to 7 minutes. You delivered it for 5 to 7 minutes, but somehow you felt that the 5 to 7 minutes got closed in 2 to 3 minutes. You feel that it went out so fast. Have you felt that? Yeah. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. These are indications to us, my dear friends, that the life cycle that we follow for our speech practices aren't in par with the right methods. So today, let us take some time to understand, analyze, and bring out the remedials so that we answer no to all these questions that I asked. Are we ready? Yeah? Amazing. Great. Now, I might be giving you a few steps to follow, but with every step, something stands common. The pattern in which we practice is very important, my friends, as I learn it from experience, as I have heard it from experts. It goes like this. Which is the fastest animal on land? Cheetah? Yeah?
Cheetah.
Cheetah. Wonderful. Any guess on the speed of this animal? They say a cheetah can speed up to 105 kilometers per hour. 105 kilometers per hour. Does anybody know the second fastest animal on land? Someone answered another cheetah when I asked this in a college. Okay. Any idea? They say it is an antelope from the deer family. An antelope. And the antelope runs at a speed of 70 kilometers per hour. Now, I was watching this National Geographic channel, and they gave me an unbelievable stat. They said, in every 5 attempts that the cheetah takes to hunt down an antelope, the cheetah wins only once. The antelope wins 4 times. an 80% of success ratio for an animal which runs at 70 kilometers per hour, and only 20% of success ratio for the animal which runs at 105 kilometers per hour. What is the reason? Why is it so? Can anybody give a guess? It has got a lot to do with the life cycle of a speech.
The antelope runs for its life.
Oh, wonderful. Beautiful answer. Toastmaster Manoj says the antelope runs for its life. In fact, the cheetah runs only for its food. I had the same guess, sir. But National Geographic Channel said if the antelope would run for its life, the 70 kilometers per hour can become 73. It can become 75. And if the cheetah is just running for its food, it can bring down its speed from 105 to 102, or maybe to 100. 70 kilometer is like a cool jog for the cheetah. So a good guess, close to right answer, but they have some other reason. Some of my students say the antelope follows a zigzag pattern. The zigzag pattern might be difficult for a lion, might be difficult for a tiger, but it is never difficult for a cheetah. And run the same way. And the answer comes like this, friends. The National Geographic Channel experts say, put a cheetah and the antelope race track. Let it be a 100-meter race. Who will win this contest? The cheetah will win. Okay, it's not a 100-meter race. Let it be a 200-meter race. Who will win? Definitely, the cheetah will win the race. No problem. Okay, forget the 100-meter, 200-meter, or 400-meter race. Let it be a 1,500-meter long-distance running. Who will win this race? And I strongly say that the cheetah will not win this race. The cheetah will not even complete this race, they say. The antelope will come first. Why? The word called endurance in English. A cheetah can run with its speed of 105 kilometers per hour only for 500 yards, not more than that. But an antelope, speed of 70 kilometers per hour, can run for kilometers together, they say. So every time there is a chase in the jungle, the antelope knows that it has to kick, jump, roll only for 500 yards. It knows that after 500 yards, this fellow is not going to be coming behind. Now, endurance. When you practice for your speech, my friend, are you practicing like the cheetah or like the antelope? Most of us practice like the cheetah, don't we?
Yeah.
I have a speech contest day after tomorrow. So I'll start it today. I'll practice for 2 long days. We call them 2 long days. And we practice n number of times. You are the cheetah in the story, my friend. And I've heard of a friend named Dhananjaya Hetirachi. I know many of you know him. Yeah. Dhananjaya, the world champion of public speaking 2014. Perfect example for someone who practices like an antelope. Let's get into the process. Let us get a little deep into the life cycle. I was a participant of the district level international speech contest in the year 2017. I did not win that contest. I placed myself in the 3rd position and I could not advance to the regional level. Dhananjaya was one of the spectators in that conference. He called me. He said, Shyam, you spoke well. Tell me the life cycle of your speech. I said, Dan, it's like anybody. I decided on a topic. I scripted. I decided on the body language. I tried a bit of voice modulation. I practiced. I rehearsed. I delivered. I did my best, but I did not win. He looked at me straight in the eyes. He spoke with me for 20 minutes. I really did not understand what he spoke, but he spoke for 20 minutes. Finally, he said, so Shyam, what are you going to do for the next year? This is what he asked after 20 minutes. I said, I feel very motivated. In fact, when a world champion talks to you, you feel motivated. Though you don't understand what he says, you feel motivated. He has talked to me privately. So I said, yes, Dan. I'm going to decide and start scripting from tomorrow. I'm going to prepare for 1 full year. He said, wow, you will fail next year also. He said, you'll fail next year also. And then I understood the life cycle of a speech shall not begin with scripting. Scripting doesn't come first, my friend. We have been thinking so. Dhananjaya unleashed this fact to me. He says, do not decide on the topic, do not decide on the script. He says, decide on your strengths. Decide on your strengths. Now, when you have thought about an idea, check if your body language will suit that. He says rehearsal comes first. Don't write anything on the script until you know for your body language, for your voice modulation, that sentence would suit. So for you to first know that this sentence would fit in your script, you should know if your body language would fit that, if your voice variation and modulation would fit that. Example, I tried what he said the next year. I presented a speech on the topic, the first impression is not the best impression. That was my speech title. I wanted to go to the stage and say, I failed in my first stage appearance. And this is what I did. I went up to the stage and I did this. Good morning, everyone. Oh, gee. Shall I start again from the first? That's exactly how I fumbled and failed when I was 8 years old. And when I failed on the stage like that, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I saw him and said immediately, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You get that? This action along with that invoked humor in the audience, and they were all with me. Now, do you think I scripted this first? Do you think I wrote it on the paper first? I knew this action was the place where I could get the attention of people. I first checked if I was good in this action. I then checked if I would bring about an innocent voice of a child. If these two would suit, this kind of a script would suit me in the speech. If I will not be good, my sentence would have been something else. So point number one is practicing with different kinds of sentences. You know, this is the sentence that would best suit you. All right. Now, what is the difference between practicing and rehearsing? Like many a time when I call my friends, they say, I'm rehearsing my speech. I'm rehearsing my speech. No, you're not rehearsing your speech. You're practicing your speech. What is the difference between practicing and rehearsing? We'll come back to that later. But number one, you start with practicing different sentences. All right, Shyam, what's the next step? Is it now scripting the speech? No. Still don't go there. Don't go there. Complete at least 70% of the speech without touching the paper. Without touching the paper. Now, how do I practice? Now, here is another point. I asked you a question. Do you forget a chunk in your script? I asked you. Do you forget the first line in your script? I asked you. Do you remember? Yeah, let us dwell more into that and then come back. Let me put the same question in a different way. How many of you have felt this? You were sitting in the hall of your house. You were sitting in the hall of your house. You were drawing something and you needed an eraser. The eraser was not in the hall. It was in the room adjacent. So what do? You stand up, you take yourself, you go. When you go close to the door of that room, have you experienced this? Why did I come here? Forget that. Why did I come here? Now, I was looking for something. Have you felt this? You forget what you were thinking about 2 minutes ago. Do you know that the brain behaves exactly the same way here? And when it forgets the script on the stage, the behavior of your brain is the same. And they say that's because the primary memory and the secondary memory have been designed like that. Now, during your practice, let us be more aware of it. Here goes the idea, my friends. When I ask you the color of an apple, you would say red. When I say what is 12 cross 2, you would say 24. Where do these answers come from? They come from the secondary memory. Assume it's somewhere here. That's the storage house. But how do these answers come? They come through the primary memory. That's the roadway. That's the transportation. Do you get that? So secondary memory is the storage. Primary memory is the roadway. So the roadway carries the answer from inside. It brings it to your mouth and it lets you speak. It gives it to your hands and it makes the action. It gives it to the legs and they walk. This is the story. So the primary memory can take data from inside to outside and outside to inside. Now the problem is this road is a one-way road. It is a one-way. You can't travel either ways. Either come this side or go that side. You can't do both at the same time. This is the problem with us when we go up to the stage. Try to understand. Now let me relate it all for you. Now look at this. I was sitting in my hall, drawing a picture. I wanted an eraser. Who told me that the eraser is in the adjacent room? My secondary memory told me. Am I right? Because the secondary memory knows it is there. So it sends a signal through the primary memory. Now, the primary takes it to the legs. So I stand up, I walk, I go close to the door. Now, what happens here? You know, the signal comes from inside. Now, this is where the brain acts very weirdly. The temperature outside that room and inside that room are different. The temperature of that adjacent room might be different. So your skin senses the difference in the temperature and it sends a signal to your brain. The noise pattern in the hall and in the room might be different. So the ears send a signal to your brain. The brightness and darkness might vary between the hall and the adjacent room. So the eyes send a signal through the same primary memory. Now what happens is a big traffic. Your eraser is standing here. And these differences in temperature, darkness, and the noise patterns are being sent. So out of the traffic, your eraser gets gone. Your eraser gets lost. So you don't get why you came there. You don't remember why you came there. Now, what's the remedy you usually do? You walk behind. Do you remember? In such circumstances, you go back to the same place. You sit and then you remember, oh, rubber, an eraser, eraser, eraser. You go there. Now, that's how you clear that extra data, that unnecessary data from the primary memory. Do you understand, friends? Do you understand what I said? Now, this is exactly what you do when you're on the stage. What happens during your practice sessions? See, this is the place where I usually practice for my speeches. Okay. Do you see this wall behind? I always stand against that wall and practice for my speech. And only 2 years ago, I got to know that I forget my speech on the stage only because of this wall. Only because of this wall. How many of you have such a wall in your house or a mirror in your house in front of which you always practice? For your information, he is the troublemaker. He is the problem. Look at the psychology behind it. They say when you stand in front of a wall, your brain assumes that the wall is your audience and it delivers. So the primary memory takes this information. The wall is my audience. The next day, you come and stand in front of the same wall. How does the brain react? The brain thinks it is a repeated audience. It is a comfortable audience. It is not a new audience. Do you understand? Do you understand what I say? So the brain gets comfortable with the same picture in front of it. So it will not concentrate on the input that it takes in from the audience. It will only deliver what it has inside. So you will be better in your practice sessions. You will start presenting the script fluently. You will start feeling comfortable when you deliver. The third day, again in front of the same wall, repeated audience, your brain has got no extra work. But on the final day, when you go to your club meeting, or maybe the contest stage, you go there, suddenly the brain is exposed to a bigger audience. There are different people. All these days, there was a wall in front of it. Now there is a difference in what it sees in front of it. So immediately so many signals are sent to the secondary memory. Your eyes, ears, skin, and all sensory organs send data into the brain. Now what happens when all these data get inside? The script is getting lost in the traffic. It's getting stuck in the traffic. And you feel, oh my God, everything is forgotten in this world. No. It's just there. It needs a green signal. It's being blocked by all this data. Now, what do I do in such cases? What do I do? Experts say, my friends, when you practice for a presentation, if you practice against this wall today, if you practice against this wall today, tomorrow change the wall. Practice against this wall. The next day, practice against that wall. The next day, change the room. Ensure that you give different scenes, different pictures to your brain. Let it not get comfortable and cozy with the same audience every time. You know, there is a checking time that they give to us in Toastmasters. Do you remember? During those in-person meetings, they ask us to check the mic. They ask us to check the stage. What a beautiful gesture by Toastmasters. You go up to the stage and the brain learns and studies the audience. It studies the ambience. The next time when you come up to the stage, you will not fail. The brain will know, yeah, I know this audience. Come on, clear traffic. Let the script come outside. And you might have seen people participating in 2 contests presenting better than people participating in 1 contest at a time. Have you seen that? Because to the people who participate in 2 contests, the stage becomes a friend. The primary memory is accustomed to that ambience. So whenever you people, can you hear me? Yeah. So whenever you go up to the stage, ensure that you take some time in that stage, on that stage, to feel that stage, so that your practice becomes clear and perfect. All right. So let's get back to that life cycle part. So I practice enough so that I know what kind of sentences would suit my body language and voice variation, or say voice modulation. Then I would practice that for 2 or 3 days like this, practice against different walls. And then finally, I decide to put my pen on the paper. Now I start scripting, because now my mind knows what suits me. And then I write it on the paper. When you write something on the paper, my dear friend, let there not be any business of editing it any further. When you write it once, that's written for one final time. Now, that's the kind of practice you should have done 2-3 days before that. Do you get what I say? And the final point is to name your speech. Look at how reversely we had been acting. Why would I give the name at the end? The name of the movie is not going to be remembered after your 5 to 7 minute speech, my friend. Your speech, the life of the speech is what people are going to remember. Do you remember what Shyam spoke the other day? Now, he was using a chair. Wow, what a lovely speech. Nobody remembers my topic. Of course, we can make them remember the topic in using different other strategies, but that does not stand first. That's the last step. Only after you know your whole movie, only after you know the whole script, you will know which title will sell that speech better. So take it to the last. Let that be the final part. Okay? And there is one more step after that. That's rehearsal. That's rehearsal. Now, what is rehearsal, Shyam? What is rehearsal? Practice comes first. Rehearsal comes at the end. Rehearsal is done not to experiment. You get that? When you rehearse, you are just checking if you are able to deliver what you practiced for. If you are able to deliver what you determine, what you are so determined to deliver. I know the speech has to look like this. Am I doing it like that? Out of haste, out of hurry, am I missing it? Do I forget certain areas in the speech? When you do this, it is called a dressed rehearsal. Though you do not dress up to that occasion, that's a rehearsal. All right. And when all of these is done, you will feel as comfortable as the world champions that we see on the convention stage. Now, those people know very well that they are not going to miss out anything on the stage. When they complete the speech for 5 to 7 minutes, they would feel that they spoke for 5 to 7 minutes. They would not feel that the speech went so fast in 2 minutes. They wouldn't miss the very first statement on the stage. They will not miss a chunk on the stage. They would have delivered everything happily. Do you remember Dhananjaya's speech? When he completed the speech, when he shook hands with the contest master, he does this action when he leaves. Do you remember? As he moves out of the stage, he does this action. Later, when I was talking to him over a cup of coffee, he said, I did that action because I knew I was going to be the world champion that year. He was on lot number 7. 3 more speakers were left to speak. Look at that. There were 3 more speakers to speak that day, and he felt himself to be the winner after completing a speech. Now, this is called delivery. This is called a proper life cycle of a speech, perfectly executed and implemented. Would you agree with me, friends? Yeah. Now, maybe one line to touch about how you have to feel when you get into a contest. Most of the times we feel attending a contest is like attending a race. If I run fast, I win. If that guy runs fast, he wins. No, that's not the kind of race our contest is. Our contest is like our academics. Our contest is like our academics. To become the winner in a race, you should run faster than him. But to be the top rank holder in your class, you don't need to do anything better or faster than your desk mate. Score 100 on 100 in all the subjects. You will be the topper. So there is no competition with another guy. When I have scored 100 on 100 in mathematics, when I have scored in full in science, social, and all the subjects, the other guy can in no way race me. So a contest is a contest only within yourself. If you can trust it, if you can believe it, you will be all fine. So a quick summary, my dear friends. I started by saying that the traditional approach goes this way. We decide on a topic, we write the script, we apply a level of body language, we experiment some voice variation and modulation, then we practice, then we rehearse, we go to the stage. Now, what are the ill effects out of it? You may forget the first line of the speech. You may forget a chunk of the speech. You may feel that the speech of 5 to 7 minutes got over in 2 to 3 minutes. You will feel that it went very fast. You will feel the chillness of your palm. You'll feel that once the speech is over, oh my God, I have done everything for this life. You feel all these trauma. Now, to avoid that, start with practice as the first step. Stand, experiment with your body language, check it with your voice, finalize the statement after that. When you put the pen on the paper, it should have at least been 2 or 3 days of practicing by then. So when you put it on the paper, no more editing. Don't tell me that I want to change this sentence. Don't feel that some alteration has to be done to the words. No. The next step would be rehearsal and finally presenting yourself on the stage. It is always a contest only within yourself. There is no contest with another person. This, according to me, my dear friends, or maybe my inferences and experiences with the different other champion speakers from our fraternity and fraternities outside, is the life cycle of a speech that I wanted to present to you. I believe it has been of some use to you. Maybe I have hit the green light now. I would like to spend the next few minutes on the stage with the question and answers that you might have with you. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me. Over to every one of you for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Shyam, for a beautifully presented speech. And this is a time where we would take on some questions. And I see Will raising his hands. Will.
That was illuminating. I must congratulate you. That was really kind of taking what I have learned, taking what I would assume to be the intuitive way of doing things and turning it inside out like a pretzel. As someone who has dabbled in competitions before, and I use that word quite deliberately because what I did was definitely no more than dabbling. You know, they tell you exactly what you said, which is to say, come up with a subject, write down a title, and then kind of formulate it all around that.
Yeah.
Which tends to kind of fall flat like a balloon that gets popped. Because after your title, everything else seems to be underwhelming.
Correct. Yes.
Now, I think if one were to take what you've said and apply it, it may be that the most underwhelming part would end up being your title. And at the end of the day, I think that is the important message here. So yes, no, definitely well done. I've definitely got a lot to take away from that.
Oh, special words, sir. It means a lot to me. Thank you. You were my evaluator when I presented my speech the previous time. It's an honor to listen to you, sir. Seriously overwhelmed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Will. And we have Eric raising his hand as well. So Eric, over to you.
Wow, thank you so much for a great speech. In fact, a great well of knowledge when it comes to delivering a winning speech. In fact, a contest winning speech. A person can see you have really participated in a lot of contests, and you have the nuggets properly right. But I have one question.
Yes, sir.
With the strategy, I use the strategy a lot. I use it a lot, and I think it's a good strategy for people who knows what they are doing. Number one. Number two, it's a good strategy which helps you to be on your toes most of the time, because you have to look for opportunities to add to your sentences, and that makes the brain to work. It push away laziness. But I have a question here. My question is, the brain have a way of forgetting, and you have explained it very well. So to go with a speech which is 7 minutes long, it might take you about 2 pages of writing if need be. My question is, how do you make those notes that comes up? Because your brain will always flash the words that you like, words that are easy, phrases that are easy, sentences that are easy, and they will come. But the problem is, it comes, you practice it, and you just forget it as if you never knew it. In the practicing session before you go to the actual script. So what is the secret to make sure that you don't forget it? Because in the first day, you will come up with all the words, all the phrases, sentences. The second day, and you forget the first day. The second day, you want to kill yourself because you forgot.
Okay, fabulous. So Toastma DTM Eric says, when I practice, okay, I found the right words. What if I forget them in the course of time? I planned for nice words, nice sentence structures. What if I forget them in the flow? My friend, like when we start experiencing this 2 or 3 times over and again, you will start feeling from the shoes of the audience. There is only one right answer for every character to present to the audience. For example, I'm a fast speaker. I'm not good at emotional elements. I'm not good at an emotional content, but you ask me to present a serious speech, I like it. So for a personality like me, I would like to hit the audience in only one angle. And in that one angle, there is only one right answer that I would always pick. The probability of my forgetting the words that I had developed is less. However, to not forget that, if you are looking for a solid confirmation, that is why we write, sir. The second or third step is to put it on the paper so that when I rehearse, I don't go beyond. Or let me put it like this. I said 2 or 3 days of practicing and then writing. No. Let me change that. Let me put it in a different way. I practice. If I am comfortable with the first paragraph of my speech, let me not wait for 2 or 3 days. First, let me pen it. I'm not going to change it anymore. Then I practice the second paragraph or the conclusion. And when that is done, let me pen it. Let it not be even in a sequential order. Let me align it later. But as you said, when I have found the best words, when I have found the best sentences, in the act of not forgetting that, let me write it right away. Does that answer, sir?
Yeah.
Glad. So scripting might help at that point. Yeah. Get it, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you
Glad,
very
sir.
much, Eric. And looking at the time, we have just enough time for one more questions, and someone raised his hand, and that would be our
Short
president.
question, Shyam. I think
Yes, sir.
it was a wonderful session, Shyam. I mean, it's
Glad, sir.
really listening from the horse's mouth. You spoke from your experience. Thank you very much.
Glad, sir.
Always have this problem of the number of words. How many number of words for a 5 to 7 minute speech? Normally, for me, it crosses 750. I think it is a little more to have the right poses and the right, gestures. So what would be the ideal? Because I have heard one world champion saying 500 to 550 words. So what's your take on that?
Sir, I believe you're on the right line, sir. 700 to 750 words for a person of your personality is fine. Now, we know the world champion speakers take only 500 words, 600 words. They do that. I somehow believe that they did not aim at 600 words. They forgot the script completely. They only spoke, they tried, they experimented. They finally brought a movie for 5 to 7 minutes. Then when they wrote it, it came down to 600 words. But then they give us only the climax. They say, I had only 600 words. No. You did not target 600 words. You experimented and it landed on 600 words. Maybe when Manoj sir experiments, when you try it out, forgetting the number of words, just think about the impact, sir. I'll tell you, when I won the humorous speech contest at District 82, I had 1,300 words, sir, for my speech. I know it's wrong. But somehow for that speech, it was required. My title was like that. My character on the stage on that day was like that. I did not count the number of words. I only practiced. I got ready. When I wrote it, it came down to 1,300 words. So I would say, think about the impact. Your first 2-3 days will tell you will be impactful. Who knows? Even 800 words might be required for you to create that impact. Who knows? 350 words might be enough for you to create that impact. Obey what your first 2 days of practice says, sir. Be obedient to those first 2 days, I would say, sir. You will know, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Glad, sir. Thank you, people. Thank you.
All right.
Feeling blessed.
Thank you, Shyam. It's so wonderful.
Glad, ma'am. Thank you. Glad, ma'am.
Shyam, there is one more questions. We'd like to take another question from Eric before you can close it up. All right, over to you, Eric.
Thank you so much. In fact, it is not a question. It is a resource. I call it resource. I've learned that from Pradeep. Resource. So, ladies and gentlemen, Shyam, I've noticed when you opened your speech, you greeted everyone, and you recognized everyone, and you went into your speech. I want to give you a secret there. Don't greet everyone.
Okay.
Start your speech with power. Start punch it. Once you are done punching it, then you can greet.
Lovely.
Yeah. You need to hook us.
Yeah.
Once we are with you, then you can say, Master Toastmaster, I love to congratulate you. I love to do what, and then you continue. That will take your speech to the next higher level.
Perfect,
Thank you so
sir.
much.
Taken, sir. Taken exactly. Doing that, sir.
I think Shyam is just being nice.
Wonderful.
I'm sure you don't do that in a contest. It's a training. Yeah.
All right, so before we close it up, Shyam, would you like to maybe share with us one or last 2 sentences, some nuggets for us before we can end this session with you?
All right. Maybe 1 or 2 lines out of that session. Practice like an antelope. Do not practice like a cheetah. Take the time. keep doing what you do for a longer time, because what we are trying to develop is not a talent. It is a skill. Talent comes naturally. Skills come in course of time. Your talents like patience, endurance, discipline will lead you to that skill. Thereby, endure through this process. Be like an antelope. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Shyam. I think that was a very brilliantly delivered workshop. I think all of us learned something. Let's unmute yourself and give a loud cheer to our presenter, Shyam. Well done.
Well done, Shyam.
Well done.
Wow.
Thank you.
Shyam.
Thank you. Thank you, people. I feel so blessed. Thank you.